Definitely a way to move things forward. And once we decide that this is what we want to do, this is what we want to be, all that sort of business, that's what we tried to do. So we tried to find like-minded individuals who we could play with. Remember, back then, it wasn't like a bunch of 17-year-old, 16-year-old, whatever, however old we were kids, could go up to a club owner or a college campus and say, hey, we want to go play your whatever, you know? They wanted nothing to do with us. It was a big deal when there were certain guys on the KDVS radio that started playing music that we understood and we got along with. You know, that was huge, you know?
What kind of people were they DJing or?
Mike Trouchon's a name that comes to mind. Rich Lucier is another one. I don't know a lot of the names of the people. I know her name was Christina. Brian Perry had a show, I believe. A lot of people that were kind of, it felt like, maybe I'm wrong or maybe I'm embellishing, but it felt like these were people that were trying to find something that had not yet been done. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, I think, maybe any type of artist or any type of person who, I think we were all nonconformists, at least at the time. That's what you do. You try to find something that resonates with you, and you find something that other people that have that same desire for that, and you find like-minded people and you go with it. You know what I mean? We wanted to find something that was nonconformist and not yet been done, which I think we were part of something like that. You know what I mean? Late '80s especially. The original versions of 7 Seconds. A lower level, Sins of the Flesh, Kenny Beasley's projects and stuff like that. They were really cool, always trying to network with us. And there were bands back at the time that were also as new, that were totally different genre. Maybe arguably, well, not arguably, literally more marketable or accessible, like bands like Fallacy. But we would try to have like these little parties. Again, we didn't have the ability or whatever to book shows at that time necessarily. We were begging to have shows. So we would just have them at a rehearsal space or somebody's house, or literally, I remember one of our earlier shows. I'm playing and saying, "Oh, that's their kitchen over there, isn't it? That's kind of cool. I like the tile job. Oh, of course, you know, stuff like that, right? I mean, because we're in a house. It wasn't like a stage. There weren't lights. There was no production. If we were singing through somebody's bass amplifier, we'd be lucky, you know. Those were the times.
What do you remember about the 80s as far as like pop art or music that, you know, were things just being born about that time in 84, 85?
Well, to say that anything was, I guess, being born, there's always going to be somebody that's going to slap you upside the head and say you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about. But for me, because I was kind of coming of age at that point, there were a lot of different art styles and music styles that seemed like this had not been really done before. As far as art in the punk world, I think it was Chet Darmstetter was a really big upcoming guy. This is the same type of time when Alan Moore and Grant Morrison were starting to write some of the craziest plot lines in comic book history. These are plot lines, and all this, the reasons why these movies, these billion-dollar movies are being made are single-handedly because of him, Alan Moore, Frank Miller, guys like that. Who's the guy? Brian Schroeder, also known as Pusshead. That was an amazing artist. That, you don't remember that guy?
I don't remember who Pusshead is.
If you go look it up, you've seen him. Okay. I know you may not know you've seen him. And that's one of the cool things like that. Like, to my mind, that guy should be a billionaire, but he's probably working a 9-to-5 somewhere because no one knows who the hell he is.
What's interesting to me is, like, if I hear Hall & Oates, I think of skateboard graphics and comic books.
Interesting.
That, you know, they came out at that time.
Right.
Daredevil, or
there you
remember
go.
The old Vigilante, DC Comics with the black outfit.
Absolutely.
You know, I totally love to collect those. That I get visions of like that sort of stuff when I hear one-on-one.
It's called it's an anatomy lesson. And the anatomy lesson was a way to take everything you've already known, everything, take it up, jumble it, drop it on the table, and put it back together, and then you have to look at it a way that you've never looked at it before. It's like, oh wow, that just blows my mind. I can't believe I've never seen that before. How could I have made this mistake? Why did I not always, again, 20/20 hindsight, it's really easy to